The finale, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. One final race in this historic season. How will Freddie Gray get on? Let's find out. So guys, we are finally here today with the finale of my F1 2014 Career Mode Series, a straight fight between Lewis Hamilton and Freddie Gray. And I can tell you guys, this is going to be an absolutely epic Grand Prix, 55 laps, 100% race, the day to night transition, and you know, we're probably going to get all sorts of battling throughout the Grand Prix as it progresses. But yeah, Freddie's 38th race, you know, to be talking about that and to be thinking that he could possibly win the World Championship, you know, it's an impressive achievement, seeing as he only joined Ferrari halfway through last season. And as you can see now, we are currently in practice, but the main point of this part of the video is to look at the championship permutation. So what has to happen for Freddie to win the championship, and what has to happen for Lewis Hamilton to win the World Championship. So basically, for Freddie to win the World Championship, he has to win, and if that happens, Lewis has to finish third or lower. Just remember that there are double points in this Grand Prix, so not all of it would work out like a normal race. You know, in 2015, obviously, because they got rid of double points, it wouldn't be the same for that finale in real life F1, but this is like the 2014 finale right here. So, if he finishes in second, Lewis has to finish 6th or lower. If he finishes in third, Lewis has to finish 7th or lower. 4th, 9th or lower, and then 5th, Lewis has to finish 10th or lower. And basically, for Lewis Hamilton to win the World Championship, he has to finish higher than the position stated for Freddie to win the World Championship. So, for example, if Freddie wins, Lewis just has to finish in second, pretty much. Has to finish just behind him. And yeah, just literally just finish ahead of Freddie, and then Lewis Hamilton's won. Because obviously Lewis Hamilton does currently have a 17-point gap, I believe. And yeah, it's going to be a very, very tense battle. 55 laps, as I said, 100% Grand Prix for you guys to enjoy with non-stop battling. I'm going to tell you that now. Literally, it was pretty much non-stop action throughout the Grand Prix. So yeah, I'd really recommend you staying until the end of the video. Trust me, it does get pretty tense. But yeah, pretty much on this lap at the moment, just in practice. And another thing is, there's quite a few other battles going on in the championship. Obviously, we've got the Constructors' Championship, where there's a battle between Ferrari and Mercedes. 23 points. We're not really going to go through the permutations for that. But pretty much Ferrari, we're going to have to really try and get a 1-2 to beat Mercedes, because the current gap is 23 points. And Rosberg and Hamilton, we're going to have to wait and see on that one. I think Fernando and Freddie are fairly confident they can beat Mercedes, but it really just depends on reliability and crashes and everything like that. But anyway, without further ado, guys, let's get into the final qualifying session of the season. Adrian Sutil's Q1 performance all but summed up Sauber's performance this season, as he would line up in 18th, with Lotus's Roman Grosjean in 19th. The Caterhams were out-qualified by the two Marussias, who were still waiting for their first points of the season. Mercedes stepped up a notch in Q2, as Lewis Hamilton led teammate Nico Rosberg with the two Ferraris just behind. Scraping through into Q3 were the two Williams cars and Jenson Button. Both Kevin Magnussen and Sergio Perez missed out. Nico Hülkenberg wasn't giving up on 7th place in the World Championship, as he was able to push his Force India cars to the limit and line up ahead of both Williams cars and Jenson Button. Daniel Ricciardo lines up in 6th, with Sebastian Vettel in 5th. It was a straight fight for the pole position between Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton and Freddie Gray. Who would come out on top? Let's find out. So now, this is Freddie Gray's most important qualifying lap of his Formula 1 career. One more run, 3 laps of fuel, and yeah, let's hope that Freddie Gray can get pole position here. Currently in 4th, behind Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. But without further ado, let's get into the lap. As we approach the end of Sector 1, Freddie Gray is 2 tenths up on his post best and 1 tenth up on Nico Rosberg. However, this sector here, guys, sector 2, is where Freddie has been struggling all weekend in comparison to the two Mercedes cars, mainly because this sector is just, it consists of two very long straights, and you know how good the straight line speed is in that Mercedes car with that Mercedes power unit. But Freddie got a pretty good exit from the hairpin just back there, which should enable him to get good traction and good acceleration, and hopefully good straight line speed come the end of the straight. As you can see, going into the turn 8 and 9 chicane, I believe this is. And actually, Freddie actually missed the first apex there, but hits the second apex quite nicely. Going out wide, trying to gain all the time possible by slightly track extending, you've got to admit. But anyway, he opens up the DRS now, and we're going to see in a second how good he is, or how close he is to the Mercedes as we enter sector 3 now. He's 3 tenths up on Nico Rosberg's time. Very surprising, actually, seeing as he did actually miss the apex of what was turn 8, I believe. Now, going to sector 3 now, this is where Freddie has really been, gaining the time this weekend. So if Freddie gained loads of time in sector 2, he should be expecting a lot more from sector 3, as Freddie is now entering his favourite part of the track, going underneath the Yaz Hotel, which is where he is actually staying this weekend. But anyway, let's get back on topic now. Freddie going through the last few corners now, track extending there ever so slightly, getting 2 wheels onto the curb, which is actually allowed in F1. Now going through the final couple of corners now, track extending there, an absolute treat. Now going around the final corner, can Freddie Gray steal pole position here? He's going to come across the line, set of 43.1. That is pole position for Freddie Gray. It's the moment of truth here, guys. It is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Freddie Gray can potentially win the World Drivers' Championship. He knows exactly what he has to do today. He doesn't need anybody telling him more than once. He has it in there. Can he seal it today? We're going to find out soon. But Freddie at the moment is in prime position for the World Championship if he can maintain his position, if Lewis Hamilton doesn't finish any higher than 3rd. As for the strategy today, we're going to be pitting on lap 17 and lap 34. And let's go out on track now for the final time in Season 2. So also we can't forget the Constructors' Championship either. Fernando Alonso in 4th. Hopefully he can try and overtake the two Mercs. Going down to turn 1 as the lights are illuminated above the drivers for the final time here. And they are out, and away we go here for the final time at Abu Dhabi, the Yas Marina circuit. And as you can see, Freddie's got off to an absolutely brilliant start, pulling away from Nico Rosberg and especially Lewis Hamilton, who I think actually lost quite a bit of time going down to turn 1. Vettel is actually up into 3rd position. But yeah, it's a brilliant start from Freddie. Fantastic stuff here. Rosberg up in 2nd. In fact, Hamilton has actually retaken back that 3rd position. It does appear, looking on the mini-map, as if Alonso has actually lost quite a few positions. But what Freddie needs to be focusing on is just his own race. That's all he really needs to be thinking about, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to be thinking about the championship too much today until after the Grand Prix. Anyway, we have some team radio.
Okay, that's a great start, mate. Expect the Mercs to challenge you once the DRS has been enabled.
So it does appear as if the Mercs do seem to be quite quick. Hamilton's setting a fast lap there. You can see a graphic just before the team radio message, or during the team radio message. And now Rosberg is within DRS distance, and it is the DRS is enabled on this lap. So Rosberg may go for a move now. I think this will be a very popular overtaking spot, along with the next straight. Obviously, there's a double DRS zone around this track, one straight after another, which can create some problems. But even if Rosberg does overtake us on the straight, we can probably overtake him on this next straight here. In fact, that's actually what Freddie's about to do here. He's thought about this tactically, because I think the DRS detection point's there. In fact, he's even getting better traction out of the corner. So, in fact, Freddie's already got the DRS, but he actually, got much better grip out the corner. He's already passed Rosberg anyway, so the DRS is just, just a bonus for him at the moment. So, currently, Rosberg in 2nd, Hamilton in 3rd, and I think behind Hamilton are the two Red Bulls, who I think are keeping him honest at the moment. So, the Red Bulls obviously do have something to be fighting for as well. They are both fighting for 3rd in the championship. And now, skipping on to lap 4, once again, we have the two Mercs, along with the two Red Bulls, I believe, behind. So, Rosberg going to go to the inside once again. He's sort of squeezing us out a little bit, not giving us much room at all. But now, Lewis Hamilton once again just behind. I think Freddie's actually leaving the door open here for Lewis Hamilton to go around the outside. Freddie actually running a little bit wide. Now Lewis Hamilton might get good, if he gets good grip out the corner, then Lewis Hamilton could be right beside of which he is. He's going to open the DRS now. In fact, no, it's Freddie that actually has the DRS. That's good for him. But I think actually Hamilton had DRS from us and we had DRS for Nico Rosberg. So as you can see, Freddie not risking a move down the inside, but now Hamilton's actually up into 2nd place. Obviously, we're not going to worry about the championship too much until the closing stages, so, the fact that Hamilton's overtaking us now doesn't really mean much to us. Freddie gets onto the curb a little bit too much there, but now actually looking in front on lap 6, I think Rosberg actually brake-checked Lewis Hamilton there as he was trying to go for a move. Rosberg really just showing no manners to his teammate whatsoever, obviously after the season that Nico Rosberg has had. Obviously just loads of retirements, and, you know, clearly Mercedes were favouring Hamilton throughout this season, so, you know, Rosberg should really not be fighting for Hamilton just for himself today. As you can see, Freddie trying to go around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. There really was not enough room to do that, but now Freddie's going to get a good exit. Going to go up the inside of this next one, a very unusual overtaking spot, but I think Freddie's actually pulled it off here if he can outperform Lewis Hamilton, which he has done there, and he's now up into second position. Now Rosberg just in front, who did actually take off the wing off Lewis Hamilton's car, so obviously Hamilton will have an extended pit stop for his first time round. So that could cost him a position to maybe Vettel and Ricciardo, although I think Ricciardo is still quite a way back. I think he's actually stopped behind Hülkenberg, who is the guy in third position currently. So now on lap 8, we're going to get the DRS Nico Rosberg here. We're going to try and overtake him going down to this next corner, possibly around the outside, although it does seem as if we're a bit too far back. As you know, the tyre air is actually kicking, but we're actually going to go up the inside. I really didn't actually expect that. A brilliant move there from Freddie. You know, really just an ambitious overtake, overly ambitious, great composure from him there. But now, on lap 10, literally this first stint was just a huge battle for the lead between Freddie and the two Mercedes cars, just that everybody wanted. So now, as you can see, Rosberg behind, I think it's going to go for a move, and so is Lewis Hamilton maybe, although Rosberg is the one that seems to be gaining with his DRS and his straight line speed. And Rosberg actually going to cut us up here, and we've actually crashed into the back of Nico Rosberg. We've lost a bit of our front wing, our end plate, and now Rosberg's actually gone ahead, and now Lewis Hamilton's going to be beside us here. So Lewis Hamilton and Freddie going to be battling it out once again, the two rivals here. Their rivalry has obviously taken a step up in this race already, just the battling. They've had more battling in this race than they have in pretty much, you know, most of the races this season. Now he's going to go up the inside here of the Mercedes driver. Lewis Hamilton defending it round the outside there. Great fight there from Lewis Hamilton, but I think Freddie might just have it covered if he can maintain the position. He has the inside line for this next corner, and he has indeed defended that position. In fact, Vettel hitting the back of Lewis Hamilton there, and Vettel almost spinning out. Did well there to control that, but Vettel just, I think Lewis Hamilton ran a little bit wide, and then Vettel wasn't expecting Hamilton to run that wide, so he hit the back of Lewis Hamilton, hit his rear tyre, and almost spun out. But now on lap 12, Nico Rosberg pulled about. What? Hang on, what? I don't know what happened there with Jules Bianchi. I think that was a Marussia of Jules Bianchi there, which just spawned in front of us. I don't know what that was. I thought I'd just show you guys. A bit of a weird glitch there. In fact, he didn't actually retire just after that incident, which was really strange, I found. I don't know why that happened. But yeah, as I was saying, Nico Rosberg pulled away by a huge amount, mainly because of mine and Hamilton's lost front wing end plates that were gone, and because our tyres began to go off as well, or more so Freddie. So I think Freddie might actually be pitting in this lap. It all depends really on what his team tell him to do. But now Lewis Hamilton is going to go up the inside of Freddie once again. Is Lewis Hamilton going to pull off the move? No, he's not. I think Lewis Hamilton's going to think better of it and try and get Freddie on this next straight here. Very tactical to do that, but yeah, Lewis Hamilton already getting good grip out of the corner, but in fact he does drop back a little bit, and now in fact Vettel could even challenge Lewis Hamilton. I think Hamilton's actually dropped back a little too much. He's backed off, you know, way too much now. Now Sebastian Vettel is going to try and go around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Can Vettel pull off the move here? I think he has done. You know, Vettel up into third position now, so Vettel really helping us out here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So now Vettel in third. Now skipping a little bit later on, we've got some team radio.
Okay mate, box this lap. We need to try and get an undercut on Rosberg.
So indeed the tyres do seem quite worn. I think it is sensible for Freddie to pit in this lap. Get a bit of an undercut on Nico Rosberg. Obviously it's very, very unlikely that we're going to overtake Nico Rosberg during this pit stop window. As you can see, still setting the fastest lap of the race. I just don't understand this with the AI on the F1 2014 game. Surely his tyres must be, you know, dead now. He can't be setting laps like that. But as I was saying, we're going to try and reduce that gap to Rosberg at the front, because I believe it got as big as 10 seconds after he pretty much took off Freddie's front wing by brake checking him. But we're going to get over that now. And what Freddie needs to be focusing on is just trying to reduce that gap to Nico Rosberg. But however, will he rejoin in traffic? As you can see, Button has just crossed the line, and he's about to come through turn 1 now. Will Jensen Button be able to get ahead of Freddie Gray here? We're going to have to wait and see. Button's going through turn 2 now, and 3. In fact, Button is ahead, so that's a little bit of traffic there for Freddie to conquer. I don't think Button should be too much of a problem. I think Freddie will probably seek the opportunity to overtake him on the DRS straight. I don't think Button will really have enough drive to get him back on the second DRS straight just after. In fact, Freddie's going to go for an early move up the inside the hairpin. Wow, that was opportunistic to say the least. Now Freddie, before the DRS activation point, is now ahead of Jensen Button, so Freddie will be able to out-drag him on the straight, and you know, Button will have no chance on the next straight whatsoever. So the next car after the Button is Nico Hülkenberg, who is quite a way up the road, so I think Freddie will just be on his own from this point on until Lewis Hamilton fits. I think the recommended pit stop lap is around about lap 17, lap 18. And as you can see now on lap 17, we have got a safety car, as one more car has retired. I'm not entirely sure who that is. But guys, one thing I forgot to mention earlier on is that Fernando Alonso, you can see, is on the other side of the track at the moment. He is down in about 14th position, and the reason for that is because he had a pretty poor start, dropping from 4th obviously to 11th. Around about there, and I think he just got caught up in the midfield mayhem and actually lost his front wing, so he had to make an early pit stop, which kind of means his strategies are going to be affected slightly. I think he's going to have to make one more stop than the rest of the field, which could benefit him at the end of the race. So don't, count out the Constructors' Championship just yet because of Fernando Alonso's misdemeanors at the start. But as you can see now, the standings are currently Nico Rosberg in first, with Lewis Hamilton down into 5th actually, so dropping behind Ricciardo and Vettel as a result of his front wing change. But the interesting thing is that Rosberg's actually on the prime tyres, so all the guys behind should be quicker than him. So I don't think it'll be really too difficult to pass him, Nico Rosberg. But anyway, we've got some team radio.
The safety car is in this lap. There's a back marker between you and Rosberg, so be careful when passing him.
So we have got a back marker in the form of Sergio Perez in between ourselves and Nico Rosberg. But as I was saying, Nico Rosberg should be relatively easy to, to catch and overtake, because he's obviously on the prime tyres. The option tyres are a good, I'd say, half a second quicker around this track, so that's half a second a lap, which we'll be gaining on Rosberg. So I think we might potentially be able to overtake him on this lap. Also, we're going to have to conquer Perez first, but Perez should move out of the way on the pit straight. As you can see, the sun is now setting in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, it's getting dark here. The day-to-night transition, hopefully you guys enjoy seeing that as well. But now the safety car is in. It's just a matter of time now before we get back to racing. Indeed, we are doing that right now, and Sergio Perez in front should get out of the way straight away, which he does. And now it's Nico Rosberg first, Freddie Gray second, Sebastian Vettel third, Daniel Ricciardo in 4th, and Lewis Hamilton in 5th. Obviously, that's good for the World Championship at the moment, for the Drivers' Championship at least. But obviously, Freddie not going to think about the Drivers' Championship too much at the moment. He's going to leave that to the last few laps. I think his engineer's not actually going to tell him anything about the Drivers' Championship. Obviously, we'll see where Lewis Hamilton is on track when he ends up battling him, maybe later on, for example. But anyway, he's going to go down the inside of Nico Rosberg here. He's battling one Mercedes car, and Nico Rosberg has been dispatched, and now Freddie is up into first position. That was really important, actually, to get past Nico Rosberg, because he didn't want to be held up by him too much. But now in lap 27, not really a huge amount happened during that 6-lap stint. As you can see, Nico Rosberg right now has managed to regain some of that time. I think Freddie's tyres are beginning to go off, so I think that was why. I think Freddie was beginning to pull out a lead, but however, Nico Rosberg and Daniel Ricciardo just so much quicker on their tyres. Even Daniel Ricciardo is managing to keep his option tyres alive, but now Nico Rosberg trying to go for the move there, but not quite succeeding. But as you can see, I think Lewis Hamilton has actually overtaken Sebastian Vettel, I believe. I think Vettel actually dropped back 2 positions to Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton. But now, as you can see, Lewis Hamilton up into 3rd position now, so he's really picking up the pace here. And now on lap 28, 1 lap later, Nico Rosberg's dropped back even further, and I think it's Lewis Hamilton who's actually on the back of the Mercedes driver here. So Lewis Hamilton has really stepped up a notch here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, as he has actually now officially overtaken Nico Rosberg for 2nd place. So that is actually kind of a bit of, I think Nico Rosberg kind of let him through there, because Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel were stuck behind Nico Rosberg for many laps before Rosberg caught back up to Freddie. But now Lewis Hamilton gets straight through, so I think there was a bit of team orders going on there. Not sure for certain, but now Lewis Hamilton's going to be a good 1.8 seconds behind us. So because our tyres are going off, I think Lewis Hamilton will be on the back of us very soon here, so we've got to be incredibly careful with Lewis Hamilton. Try not to make too much contact. Obviously, this rivalry has literally reached boiling point after many of the incidents that Freddie has had with Lewis Hamilton throughout the season. But now Ricciardo has actually made his way past Nico Rosberg up to 3rd position. But now I think we did lap a Marussia back there, and we have another Marussia to lap here in the form of Jules Bianchi, I believe. I think it is Bianchi. Yes, it is. It is the Frenchman of Jules Bianchi. But now Freddie actually makes a mistake. He runs a little bit wide. Now Lewis Hamilton's going to go round the outside of Freddie here. Is he going to succeed in doing so? But no, he actually crashed into the back of Jules Bianchi. Why did Lewis Hamilton do that? He just crashed straight into the back of the Marussia driver. Lewis Hamilton could have stopped him behind us because he did. Freddie had the inside line. So I don't know what happened with Lewis Hamilton. As you can see on the replay here, he literally just crashed straight into the back of Jules Bianchi. And that has completely ruined this race. And that is really a huge turning point for this World Championship, because now Lewis Hamilton has to make an extra pit stop, and because of that, he was going to have to make an extra pit stop right at the end of the Grand Prix, so he has one more stop to make in comparison to everybody else. So potentially Freddie has pretty much sealed this World Championship, but don't count out Lewis Hamilton just yet, guys. You never know what can happen in Formula 1. It's not over until it's over. You know that for certain. But anyway, Freddie now has his next challenger in the form of Daniel Ricciardo, who is currently fighting for 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. I do believe a few laps ago that Sebastian Vettel dropped out of this Grand Prix, meaning that Daniel Ricciardo has officially sealed 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. A brilliant season for him. But anyway, a bit more on topic now, back onto the race. Daniel Ricciardo right behind us with that traction that he has. But anyway, team ready?
The tyres aren't looking too great, so box in this lap.
Yeah, I think it is best, the Ferrari team obviously telling Freddie to pit in this lap. I think that is the most sensible decision, as Ricciardo's really catching us up, and also Lewis Hamilton, we can't forget about him just yet, because it depends. If he rejoins ahead of us here, then he could potentially extend his lead, to even 20 seconds, and, maybe his extra pit stop won't even matter. So we're going to have to wait and see here. We're going to go into the pits now on lap 33, a little bit earlier than expected. I think a couple of laps too early. So this will be our final pit stop of the race. We're going to have to manage these tyres for 21 laps, the prime tyres. I think that we should be able to do that quite easily. I think the prime tyres in a 100% race are kind of programmed to go around 22, 23 laps. So, we are pushing them to the limit, but that's what Formula 1's all about. We're going to try and push these tyres to the limit. Freddie going to have to be, slightly more cautious, but obviously he's still going to fight if he has to. But now, as you can see, Bottas has actually rejoined ahead of him, who's having a brilliant race here, Valtteri Bottas. And that's Jenson Button also ahead. But now Lewis Hamilton, where is he? I think he's about to go through turn 2 and turn 3 right now. There is Jenson Button, and Lewis Hamilton is behind us. Yes, he is. Lewis Hamilton is right behind us here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. That is absolutely crucial. Anyway, team ready?
You've rejoined just ahead of Hamilton, but he still needs to make one more stop.
So our engineer reminding us there that Lewis Hamilton has to make the extra pit stop. So yeah, that is absolutely crucial, getting ahead of Lewis Hamilton here, but he will be right on the back of us for this entire stint. So literally, Freddie will be under all sorts of pressure throughout this stint of the Grand Prix. I think Lewis Hamilton will pit in about 10 or 11 laps time for his final stop of the day. But as you can see, Hamilton going to go up the inside of Freddie here, going to try and make the move, but no, he does back out again. Thinks better of it, but now as Lewis Hamilton has done that, Freddie has managed to close in on Jenson Button, which means that they'll both get double DRS, which means that both, actually a three-way British battle here between Button, Freddie and Lewis Hamilton. In fact, Freddie's going to go around the outside of Jenson Button, and I think Lewis Hamilton's going to do the same as Jenson Button backs off a little bit too much. I don't think Jenson really wants to get in the way of the fight for the Drivers' Championship. You can see pretty much just letting both Freddie and Lewis through there. Obviously, Jenson Button running very well again, obviously fighting for his own cause in the Drivers' Championship, fighting for 7th place. Obviously, he's currently in prime position to do that currently. As you can see, there's a front wing that's been lost at the final, the penultimate corner on lap 34. And I do believe that's Nico Rosberg, because as you can see, Bottas has actually made his way ahead of Nico Rosberg, because I think Rosberg, obviously on the prime tyres in the last stint, he'd be staying out a little bit longer because obviously he'd be fitting the option tyres for the final stint. So again, that sort of ruined his race. Now Rosberg's lost his front wing. I'm not sure how, maybe because of a back marker or something, but yeah, a bit strange there. Lots of front wings going off here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And in fact, I think that was actually Rosberg, or maybe that was Ricciardo, rejoining just behind Lewis Hamilton. So Ricciardo actually losing out to Lewis Hamilton there. Obviously, Freddie and Lewis both getting the undercut on the Red Bull driver. So that worked out an absolute treat there for both of them. Now Freddie understeering a little bit onto the marbles, and now losing that grip. And now Lewis Hamilton is going to be right on him with the DRS. Obviously, Freddie doesn't have DRS from anything, but now Valtteri Bottas, of all people, is actually in the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He's not even in the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship, so really shocking that he's actually leading this Grand Prix for Williams. But anyway, Lewis Hamilton going to try go around the outside, but now Freddie actually outbrakes, so trying to defend the position too much. The pressure actually got to him there more than anything, which is very strange to see, as now Lewis Hamilton is pulling away, but I think Freddie's going to put it up into rich mix, and he's now going to try and catch up with Lewis Hamilton, which he has done here. He's closed that gap down to 0.4 of a second, as he's going to drive through the chicane here. Going to corner cut it a little bit. He's going to go for a very opportunistic move up the inside of the Mercedes driver. He's going to try and defend it round the outside. He's going to try and avoid any sort of contact, which is what he's done. But actually, no, he hasn't, because Freddie puts his hand up there. What I can only assume was a little bit of contact with the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Actually, their rear tyres touching there almost. I don't think there was actually contact in any way, but I think Freddie didn't like that. I think it was a bit too close for comfort for the Ferrari driver right there. But now, once again, Freddie understeering out onto those marbles. Now, Lewis Hamilton on lap 43 here. I think it's getting very close to his pit stop laps. I think, more than anything, Hamilton's getting absolutely desperate now to try and overtake Freddie and try and pull out a little bit of a lead before his pit stop, which is very surprising. I mean, it's really surprising that he can actually, he's even thinking of doing that, because his tyres must be absolutely dead now, because he's been on those prime tyres, for a good 20 laps or so, well over 20 laps. And yeah, Lewis Hamilton's actually now taken the lead, so I don't think we're going to be able to get him back here, although Freddie once again putting up into Richmond to get the best drive out of the corner, best acceleration possible. He has the DRS now. Hamilton's actually harvesting DRS, interestingly, so that gives Freddie, a good opportunity to go round the outside, which he has done here, and Freddie's actually regained that position with absolute ease. So very surprising there that Lewis Hamilton was saving ERS and actually defended as much as he did. But Lewis Hamilton, I think that kind of means that he is pitting in this lap if he, if he wasn't really that worried about defending position from Freddie. But now on lap 44, I think this is the lap that Lewis Hamilton is due into the pits.
Hamilton is pitting now. One final push now, Freddie. Come on.
So it's one final push now for Freddie. So now Lewis Hamilton's to the pits. That means he's going to drop down to about 5th position. But now on lap 50 here, guys, Lewis Hamilton is absolutely on it here. He has been setting fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. And he is closing in on 5th place Valtteri Bottas. So, and because Freddie tyres are literally going off the cliff right now, this Grand Prix is not over. I'm telling you that now. This is not over yet. So, you know, if you're thinking about clicking off the video now because you think Freddie's won the championship, you know, stay here because, you know, there's a huge chance that Lewis Hamilton could catch up because he is on the pace right now as Nico Rosberg did try and go for the move there on Freddie Gray, but it didn't quite work out for him. Now on lap 51, Nico Rosberg right on the back of Freddie Gray once again with Daniel Ricciardo in 3rd. And I think Lewis Hamilton, I think it's Valtteri Bottas currently in 4th with Lewis Hamilton in 5th actually. So Lewis Hamilton obviously really on the pace right now, so we just need to watch out for him and just monitor his progress. But obviously Freddie's not going to worry about that too much at the moment. Obviously his engineers will do, but they're not going to tell him anything about it. I think they're only going to tell him about the championship as he crosses the line. But anyway, we need to stop thinking about the championship now. There's still 4 laps to go in which anything can happen. You know, anything can happen in Formula 1 at any point. But now skipping onto the penultimate lap here, Nico Rosberg and Daniel Ricciardo are now right behind us. I think Lewis Hamilton has made his way past Valtteri Bottas for 4th place. So, you know, as it stands at the moment, it looks as if Lewis Hamilton has an impossible task really to overtake Rosberg and Ricciardo on the final lap. So it looks unlikely here, guys. But you know, we've got to keep, we've got to keep driving as fast as we can because you never know what can happen in Formula 1. As we have actually lost another car. As you can see, Lewis Hamilton is actually really close right now. As you can see, just looking behind there, Lewis Hamilton was literally right on the back of Daniel Ricciardo and Nico Rosberg. But Freddie's tyres are literally going off the cliff right now. They are so dead. As you can see, going through every corner, he's pretty much having to oversteer. He's really being as cautious as possible, which is allowing Lewis Hamilton to catch up even more, along with Fernando Alonso and Valtteri Bottas. Obviously, Fernando Alonso, I think, has actually passed Valtteri Bottas now for 5th position. So it looks like the Constructors' Championship is pretty much out of the question now, as Rosberg has actually dropped back quite a bit here, which is interesting to say the least, as Hamilton is 2 tenths behind Ricciardo, who is 5 tenths behind Rosberg. Oh my god, this is getting extremely tense now for Freddie. Obviously, Freddie has no idea what's going on here. Freddie's just literally focusing on his own race. But now Rosberg has managed to escape from Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton. Ricciardo currently is 2nd behind Rosberg, so Ricciardo is not going to get DRS by the looks of it. But now, guys, it's all come down to this on the final lap here of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Now, Nico Rosberg right behind Freddie here, but in fact, Lewis Hamilton's got a brilliant exit from the hairpin, which is looking behind a little bit, and I think he's actually going to pass Daniel Ricciardo. We're going to have to wait and see here. He hasn't done that quite a bit. Now, we've got to focus on Nico Rosberg. He's literally moving his car, front of his car, all over the place. Now, Nico Rosberg's going to go down the inside, and no, he doesn't quite do that, but Freddie's being very cautious here, giving Rosberg all the room possible, which he really shouldn't be doing. I think he's just trying to be cautious because he could quite easily spin out one of these corners. Now, Lewis Hamilton is up into 3rd place here. He's passed Daniel Ricciardo, so now he's going to be closing in on Freddie and Nico Rosberg here. So Freddie's going to have to be really cautious as we are now in the final sector of the final lap of the season, and the Drivers' Championship still has not been decided as of yet. As you can see, Nico Rosberg literally moving all over the place, trying to make a move, but Freddie is literally handling this pressure extremely. Obviously, has absolutely no idea that Lewis Hamilton is in 3rd position right now. As you can see, Rosberg once again just not going for a move. I think Rosberg's really happy with 2nd place. I think really he's just fighting for the team today, and at the moment it does seem as if Mercedes have sealed the Constructors' Championship. Well, going into the final few corners now, Freddie really struggling on his tyres, getting so much over, so really struggling for any sort of grip. Now going into the final corner, Nico Rosberg tries to make a move up the inside, but it's that Lewis Hamilton behind. He's actually lost front wing. No, he's in 2nd place. I am genuinely lost for words right now. Wow! I am literally speechless, even post-commentating on this. That was unbelievable. Lewis Hamilton crashed into the back of his teammate, still managed to overtake him around the outside and take 2nd place, which in turn stole the championship off Freddie, and now Lewis Hamilton is the champion of the 2015 season. Unbelievable. I cannot believe what has just happened here at the Yas Marina circuit. Mercedes have won the Constructors, Lewis has won the Drivers' Championship. What a drive from Lewis Hamilton though. You know, to lose his front wing to Bianchi and having to make that extra and to close in and overtake 2 cars on the final lap really does, you know, that's what a true champion really has about him. Honestly, that was a fantastic drive from Lewis Hamilton, but really a heartbreak for Freddie. Honestly, you've got to feel incredibly sorry for him here. He thought, he had the championship sealed. Obviously, he didn't actually really know about Lewis Hamilton, so obviously he's going to find out the circumstances after this race, guys. But wow, I just cannot believe how that happened. I mean, it just escalated all so quickly. That final lap was one of the most tense I've ever driven on a Formula 1 game. So really, really tense stuff there. Really nerve-wracking, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, guys, now we're going to look at the Drivers' Championship, the final Drivers' Championship of Season 2. So guys, here is the final championship standings of Season 2 of my F1 2014 career mode, and as you can see, I've got all the drivers listed here from 1st to 22nd place, and obviously all the teams in the Constructors' Championship as well. But let's just quickly go through it. Obviously, agonising for Freddie, losing out by 3 points in the end to Lewis Hamilton. You can see 342 points for Lewis and 339 for Freddie. Daniel Ricciardo ending up in 3rd, and due to Sebastian Vettel's retirement, Nico Rosberg actually got ahead of him due to his 3rd place in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and Fernando Alonso only finishing 1 point behind actually. So overall a good season for Ferrari, and as you can see the 2 McLarens behind Alonso, Button and Magnussen, and actually one of the biggest droppers actually in the last race comparison to Brazil was actually Felipe Massa. He dropped from 7th all the way down to 10th. He actually retired from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and Button, Magnussen and Hulkenberg all scored points during the race, so that meant that Massa actually fell from 7th all the way down to 10th. And behind him was Williams driver Valtteri Bottas. We got Kvyat also doing very well this season with 29 points. Verne obviously with 20, 18 of those came in the Monaco Grand Prix, that race you probably remember. And then Kobayashi in 15th with 18 points. And as a result of that, because Marcus Ericsson got actually finished in 20th with 4 points, Caterham actually finished ahead of Lotus, guys. Basically, you might be a bit confused now because previously I've had Lotus ahead of Caterham, but I've actually realised I did and I actually worked the standings out wrong for the Constructors' Championship. So Caterham did actually finish ahead of Lotus, and Lotus actually tied with Sauber. And as you can see, for 16th, Grosjean and Sittel were actually tied, but because of Grosjean's 5th place in Austria, if you can cast your minds all the way back to that race, that's why he finished in 16th, and that's why actually Lotus finished ahead of Sauber in the Constructors, because they also drew there as well, because both Grosjean and Sittel got 14 points, and both Gutierrez and Maldonado got 6 points. And the 2 guys without any points, Chilton and Bianchi. And yeah, guys, that is about it for this F1 2014 career mode finale. I really hope you have enjoyed this video, guys. I really do appreciate every single bit of support on this video, guys. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the series in the future, but for now, it's been a pleasure.